Hi guys, you're on VRM24.com. Today we're disassembling the Honor X7b. First we need to remove the SIM tray. For that we use a special tool, insert it into the hole and push the tray out. Next we need to heat the back core to around 70 degrees Celsius or 160 degrees Fahrenheit. We are using a heating mat, but a hairdryer will also work. And after 5 to 10 minutes we can start separating the back cover. To do this, we use a thin plastic film. We carefully insert it into the gap between the back cover and the mid frame and gently slide it along the edge, cutting through the adhesive. Be extra careful around the side buttons and the fingerprint sensor area, as cables may be located there. We also need to be very careful around the camera area, as the cover is more firmly glued there. We slowly lift the cover and cut the adhesive layer without using force. At some point we can take a peek under the cover to check for remaining adhesive spots. We can also use a thin tool to slightly lift the cover. And it is important not to press down the area above the motherboard to avoid any damage. Now we remove the back cover. There are no components on it. And take note of where the flex cable is located and where the adhesive is around the cameras. Okay, we set the cover aside and move on to removing the screws. To remove the screws, we use a 1.5 mm Phillips screwdriver or a Phillips #3O. We carefully unscrew them and lay them out in a specific order so nothing gets mixed up. If any screws is stuck, we can use tweezers. If they are hard to remove, we can also use a magnetizer. And we see a warranty sticker on one of the screws, which means the phone hasn't been disassembled before. For the screws at the bottom, it is better to keep them separate from the others. There is also one black screw on the side. It is important to remove it. And notice there is another barely visible black screw that holds the mid frame and the motherboard together. And now we move on to removing the mid-frame. For that we use a thin plastic film to unclip a few clips near the SIM tray. Then switch to a thicker tool. Be very careful at the corners, as the frame holds tightly there, and there is extra adhesive. We gently release the clips, don't force it open, or you might damage the flex cables or other parts under or on the frame. We see one side comes loose. We carefully unclip and gently try to free the final corner. And we gently run the tool along, lift slightly and flip the frame over. So we flip the cover in a way that doesn't damage the fingerprint sensor cable that runs from the motherboard to the mid-frame. Now, using a non-metal tool, we disconnect the battery connector. Next, we apply protective film over the camera lenses to prevent dust or debris. Okay, we remove the rear cameras. We gently disconnect the connectors, peel off the thermal foil and set the cameras aside. And we remove the small bracket that covers the fingerprint sensor connector. We carefully remove the bracket and set it aside. Now we can disconnect the fingerprint sensor connector and remove the mid-frame. Next, we disconnect the front camera. It is best to cover its lens with a film to keep it clean. Now we move to the lower part. We start by removing the speaker, then we disconnect the interboard flex connector and the two coaxial cables. And we remove one screw that secures the subboard. This screw is different, so keep it separate. Okay, we can remove the subboard. We gently lift and take it out. The subboard contains the charging port, microphone, headphone jack and other components on the reverse. And here is our quick microphone hole test. The microphone hole is in the display frame, L-shaped, protected by a membrane. The microphone itself is on the back side of the subboard, away from the frame hole. So, sticking anything in the mic hole won't damage the microphone. The vibration motor stays in the display frame. And we move on to the motherboard. We disconnect the interboard cable, which also connects the display. Then we disconnect the two coaxial cables. Now we can remove the motherboard. We find the right spot, gently lift it out. As for the upper microphone hole, it is the same L-shaped, mic on the back of the board, so again, inserting anything won't damage it. And finally, we remove the battery. Honor phones have brown pull tabs. Carefully fold them aside, read the labels. Try to release the H tabs, then pull the center tab to remove the battery. Under the battery there is a transparent protective layer covering the interboard cable. Okay, that is it for the disassembly. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video or on our Telegram channel.
I can't escape myself, this roller coaster of emotions and the person I'm becoming.
Okay guys, now we're done. Thank you for watching. If you like what we do, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel, read our articles on our website. Take care of yourself and until next video.